Welcome to WhoDooTV. We are live with another new Comic Book Eve Tuesday. Today is August 21st. We're talking new comic books for August 22nd. And thanks you everyone for joining. My name is Hoosier, and I got my old buddy online, the other bald man. What's up,
Bald? Looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about this week. We got a lot of books to talk about.
Somewhat, yeah. There's some decent stuff to talk about, some good content, I believe, to talk about things going on in the comic book world. With Valiant, whatnot as well. Just some interesting things going on. So, what'd you think of last week's books, man? Did you get your nose into anything last week?
I got my nose into all of them. I really enjoyed Pearl. That's what you see. I'm looking down here because I've got my books all spread out down here on the right side. But I got into Pearl. I like the direction that it's going to, that it's going to be going through. It's a very interesting book, and the artwork is just crazy delicious. I mean, oil painted, just dripping with tons and tons of beauty. And then, of course, they use tighter on the faces to give a little more emotion, that type of thing. Good. Interesting, solid. I want more.
That's awesome. I was listening to a David Mack interview, and a little known thing is that David Mack's actually who got Brian Michael Bendis his start at Marvel.
Yep.
So he was doing the art for, I believe, Daredevil, and he was writing. David Mack was writing Daredevil, and he was friends with Brian Michael Bendis, and they worked on a creator-owned project and got him to start writing for Daredevil. So he kind of handed over the reins there. So I think that's cool. Yeah, but Pearl #1, the beginning of the Jinx world. So
Yep. It was a fantastic book. What else did I dive into? Weatherman, of course. Analog. Analog was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's holding steady. It's an entertaining, interesting book.
Right.
Weatherman, though, I'm loving that book. I'm just loving everything that's going on. All hell is constantly breaking loose.
Right. It is a good book so far, man. I am liking what Nathan Fox is doing with the art and then the story that's coming along. It's making you really invest in these characters. So,
yes, absolutely.
And did you get into Gideon Falls or Crowded at all?
Yes. Crowded, I did not. I was kind of waiting to get some feedback from you because I know that was on your pull list. But Gideon Falls, of course. And, oh, man, it does take Lemire 3 or 4 episodes to really get going. And the one before last week really got the ball going. And, man, it just, I don't know. It's like you're trying different steaks. And last week you say, man, this is the juiciest steak ever. But this week you're like, oh, put that one aside. This one is amazing. And I just, I want to smother my face in it. Yeah, it was fantastic. And, man, I cannot wait to see this on a television show or on the big screen or whatever Dinesh and company choose to do with it.
What food are you going to refer that to?
Well, I am a fat kid, so I'm thinking cake. It's got to be like a 7-layer cake, ice cream cake. I don't know.
Could give you a hard time. I was going to say, do you know how many times that you revert these comic books to food? Man, big old steak, big old cake. Give me a cupcake. Give me a cookie. I don't care. Just give me something to eat. Like, it's funny because we're going to talk about it now, and I'm going to jump the gun up. We're going to talk, eventually down the road here, guys. We're going to talk about Valiant's glass cover for Bloodshot. They need to make a edible one. I think that might be your thing, dude. You might rock out with an edible cover,
lollipop style.
Oh, that's it. You need to make millions that way. Let's make millions that way. One thing I do, we do every once in a while, we do this. We talk about some of the people that have left an impact in the world that have passed away. So Aretha Franklin this week, sad to see her go. I first knew about her from the Blues Brothers when she was on that because I was a huge Blues Brothers fan. Dan Aykroyd, Belushi. That's when I first knew about her. But she's been around forever. And then I also put up there little personal, whatever you want to call it, just advertising my stuff. That's a painting I painted her a while back. And it's I have it posted on a website, a third-party site that prints it and frames it. And the thing about that that's really cool is it's been selling a lot right now. So I kind of actually didn't know that she was passed away until I started getting all these emails about, hey, your painting was reprinted and sold. Hey, your painting was reprinted and sold. I'm like, man, I'm selling a lot of Aretha's this week. And then somebody's like, yeah, she passed. And I was like, oh, well, sorry, Aretha. But
kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's kind of like, oh, I was all excited about like, oh, people like my art. Nope, they like Aretha. So
yeah, you know, I want to say that I was similar where I picked up on Aretha from the Blues Brothers, but I know that there were instances of listening to her. Both my mother and my father were very musically inclined. There was always music going on. I remember it growing up. I may not have been able to pinpoint it, but the Blues Brothers, I can't say. I do remember seeing Aretha singing there, all of that. But yeah, in my household, there was a lot of music, and I know that she was being played often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Aretha is pretty awesome, pretty impactful woman in the world for many things. And then just being so huge, the queen of soul, I believe is the title, her name that she has been given. So, and it's actually been like 40 years exactly to the day that Elvis Presley passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's
that's interesting.
Yeah. So the same day she passed away on the same day as Elvis. So, yeah, interesting fun fact. But let's move on to some more exciting news, and actually probably just as depressing, but also exciting, depending on what side you're on. I'm more on the side of give me the show. I'm excited for new characters. I love comic book characters that get played on any screen. It's awesome. And Batwoman is coming in December on a 3-day in a row crossover event. We're going to get Batwoman that's going to be played by Ruby Rose. Why I bring this up? Well, number one is because I think it's awesome that she's going to be in it, that we're getting a new character on that. I've been catching up on the last season since I stream everything, and getting to see Plastic Man on Flash, getting to see all these new characters be developed is really freaking cool. And hey, it's a TV show, it's Hollywood. They're going to do their own, their own thing with it. But there's been some weird things about Ruby being casted. From Twitter, somebody had posted on there, not only does Ruby Rose not identify as a lesbian, but she's not Jewish either. So they basically lied about it, wanting the actor to represent the diversity, to stay true to who Batwoman is, and instead just picked a hot white person that isn't too gay to offend the straights. So pretty out there statement, like she's not gay enough and she's not Jewish. But the funny fact that Ruby came out and said, where on earth did Ruby Rose is not a lesbian, therefore she can't be Catwoman come from? Has to be the funniest and most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I came out at 12 and have been for the past 5 years had to deal with she's too gay. How do y'all flip that on me? I did not change. And I've only known her as being that. So that's, I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm not of that culture. And so but I do think that when we get too nitpicky, I don't know, it's just hard. But I think Ruby does a good job here. I wish we would all support each other and our journeys. When women and when minorities join forces, we are unstoppable. When we tear each other down, it's much more hurtful than from any group. But hey, she loves a challenge. So I give her credit for, I think she's handling it as well as could be. Being told she's not one thing when she knows she's something else. It's hard, and it's hard to get things perfect. However, right, where are you going to find the perfect person with the right acting chops that is this and that is that? I do think, and when like Domino was casted for Daredevil 2, I thought that was ridiculous that people were upset about what race she was, because in the comics she's white, and then they casted her as a person of color. To me, like, I think people that got mad about that was ridiculous. It's not always going to be this perfect, but they're going to try to get it. And that's, I think, is important. And I do think that inclusion is important as well. Having, not being so inclusive, you know what I mean? But allowing others to come in. is really important to comics and our geek culture. So, I mean, being geek was out and now being geek is in. And, you know, that's what a lot of people went away from, is because, you know, you weren't on the in culture, but now you are. And it's weird how it's seeing how the roles kind of can reverse.
Yeah, and for me, just politically, man, put down the microscope and just be entertained, for crying out loud. I mean, you can't, like you had said earlier, you're not going to be able to find a lesbian Jewish character that's 5'9", and according to the comic book, looks like she may weigh 119.5 pounds. And no, you're just not going to find that perfect fit, nor should you try and go and find that perfect fit. You need to find somebody that can play the part and entertain us. And I have no doubt that Ruby Rose is going to be able to do that. And that's all I give a damn about. And it's frustrating that you have either side and either side trying to stir the pot. And the frustration level for me, I just want to tune them out. These guys are knuckleheads, just like she said. I want her to be challenged. I want her to deliver. I want her to be the best Batwoman she can possibly be. That's all I care about. I want her to just succeed, because I know my wife enjoys watching Supergirl, and we have on occasion watched the other shows, especially in crossover events. We try and watch them because it does introduces a bunch of different characters, and you never know where that's going to lead to. So people just sit down, put on a seatbelt, watch the show, put tape over your mouth, put Twitter down, just be entertained.
Right. You know, and I wouldn't go that far. I think people are allowed to express their opinions, but how they express them is another thing. You know, and not being as pointed to somebody, or, you know, but I don't know, I guess just managing it to where you're still thankful for what it is. And you know what I mean? Like that we're getting Batwoman on TV. That's awesome. Yeah. You know what I mean? That and CW's done a great job of having a lot of diversity as far as, you know, well, Supergirl's sister is lesbian.
Right.
There's a bisexual. I mean, yes, I do see the point of them being just white, how they all are Caucasians. But they are trying to, you know, turn it all around. And I hope that they continue to do that. I don't care who's playing. In a way, I don't care who's playing Batwoman. I'm just happy that it's happening. Right. I'm happy that we're getting Gotham. The Bat, you know, universe is getting thrown into the TV to play with Flash, to play with Arrow, to play with you know, the Legends of DC, or the Legends of Tomorrow. I think it's awesome just to get that, and so I'm going to be thankful for that. I know, like, you know, we wanted the perfect Bloodshot. You know, are we getting it? I don't know. I hope we're getting the best of it, though. So I'm, you know, just letting the guys who have been doing well on it handle it. Exactly. And hopefully it gets to be a product that we enjoy. You know, is Bloodshot not have, Vin Diesel does not have hair, and every Bloodshot I've seen has, except for Commander Bloodshot, has had hair. So I'm happy with what we're getting with that Vin Diesel anyway. So I could cry about it, and it could have been a skinny what's that, Jared Leto, and I still would be excited. So we're getting the character that's coming. And that brings us to Bloodshot, taking that train.
Yeah, right into it.
So they announced Bloodshot 8-part series, going to have some pre-orders, and they talked a little bit about the glass. I just want to say off the top of this, look at the art on these books. Look at that Felipe Mustafa, I believe, the second to the right. From the right is just awesome. That A cover is great, and then Doug Braithwaite's glass cover, and then Max work, that's just amazing. But the glass cover, they announced a little bit of some weird news on it.
Yeah, they put it out, and their big thing that they pushed out here yesterday, I do believe, is what it was. It's going to be a 1 in 250 variant, but a comic book store can buy more than one if they want. They just have to buy the books. I'm not a fan of this move. As a collector, it really seems to lower the value of this glass book. I'm not excited about it at all being glass, because who knows just on how fragile it will be. But But in all reality, if you're a comic book store, what's stopping you from getting 1,000 of these books, getting 4 of these variants that should go for around $200-ish a piece, one by one selling these off, never mind the 1 of 10s, 1 of 25s, and the 1 of 50s that'll come with it. And then if you're smart, you box up 950, 970, however many you don't sell, you just box them up, let them sit there for a little while, and then send them all back, and you've made a killing.
I know you and I talked about this prior, but I would like to hope that there's only a certain amount you can send back, because what that does to the value is just ridiculous to these books. You're not being fair to the collector that's doing it for it. So hopefully they only allow somebody to return 200 of them, not 500, not 750, because that definitely messes up your numbers a lot. It definitely changes up a couple things. And I'm not a big fan of, unlimited with unlimited return, on number 1. So I hope that they limit that, or they change their mindset on the covers. And, and I also think that the retailers are smart enough to know if they do something like that, other retailers are doing something like that, and they're only shooting themselves in the foot about the value of the cover they're buying.
Yeah, it'll really cheapen the experience. And me, I'm going to sit back and take a long, hard look at this before I spend any money. Chances are I won't even get one. I question the fragility of the book. I don't know how thick it's going to be, but if it's as thick as the metal cover, which the metal cover wasn't extremely thick, it was hefty, but it was metal. If it's as thick as that, which was like maybe a 1/8, 1/16 inch. Yeah, I'll be leaving it alone and let others collect it.
I believe I saw somewhere that they mentioned it was going to be etched.
Yes.
So that's pretty. It's pretty wild. It's tempered glass, said to be etched. Going from there.
Painted, yeah, etched and painted, and interesting. It'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to take a good hard look at it. We'll see just how this does. I think I'm more interested in is it truly going to be an 8-part series? I know that their pre-order said 1 through 8, and I will be pre-ordering. I get all the pre-orders. So I imagine it will be just an 8-part. And if it is just an 8-part, I'm kind of bummed by it, because I would like to have seen a little better of an ongoing, at least 12.
I'm happy that it's a mini, actually, because it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So I am happy for that, because if you were to try to go onto an ongoing of a prequel, you could be doing a lot of retconning, a lot of things that, taking away from this character and this more character development that we got from Bloodshot Reborn, that Lemire did with this character to humanize him a little bit more. But I do like that we're getting some of the old story here. So I don't know. I would say I'm glad that it's not an ongoing due to that, because it's the prequel. And then maybe they could write something to go from where he's at now, because there is so much story that Lemire left on the table with Bloodshot Salvation. Because I would, sooner than later, I would like to see some more Rampage connected into Bloodshot's mythos, and more Scarred Man. And, we also got to see where he's at after Harbinger Wars 2, when he's been basically on Livewire's, command, being hacked by her. So I am kind of glad that we're not going to stick too long into that, but we'll be there long enough. Long enough to where the series will probably, that 8-part series will probably end pretty close to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con next year. So, and then that would be where we would see the Bloodshot trailer.
Yes, I would agree. Yes.
So interesting connection. And I'm going to continue on that Lemire journey. I went and talked a little bit about Lemire books that are coming. And it is the finale of Royal City this week. We are going to get the end of Royal City. And this has been a very slice of life Americana book that Lemire's put out that I've enjoyed. It's very deep and talk about loss and family and how it affects the family. I like it. This could be set in anywhere, Middle America, and just about this family that lost that lost a son, a brother, and how they've reacted in this city of Royal City. So I'm gonna give it off to that, and then we also got another. Lemire is still going on the Miller World with Hit Girl number 7, continuing his Canada series. And it looks like Hit Girl is going to go in a couple different areas, different places, and Lemire's got it for this arc. I have read the first one of this arc. I quite enjoyed it. I haven't read a whole lot of Hit Girl prior, but I have liked, Lemire's on it. I'm going to give it a try. And then after that, we have Lemire on a couple other different titles. One of them is the Terrifics number 7 with DC. So he is still going on to that with the Terrifics number 7. Another one is the Century. The Century number 3 is out with Marvel. Pretty wild. And then Black Hammer number 4, Age of Doom with Dark Horse. So 4 different books, or 4 different publishers, 5 different books.
That's crazy.
Wow. And then he had Gideon Falls last week too.
Yeah. The busiest man in comics. I don't know of anybody that has as many books out that's pushing and publishing as much as Lemire is. I mean, don't get me wrong. The great thing about this whole thing is not a single one of those stories is lacking. Not a single one. I mean, and in some instances, like in Hit Girl, it's picked up attention. People have been going after this book because Lemire's writing it. And that opens doors. That opens doors for other readers to say, okay, maybe this, when Lemire leaves this book, they say, oh, well, maybe Hit Girl's something I want to stick with. And people that haven't read Lemire and are reading Hit Girl, they say, who's this Jeff Lemire? And they find out just how awesome he is.
Right. And maybe against unpopular opinion, but I had to believe that at the time, not that it's bad, it's just how good of quality everything else that he does was Bloodshot Salvation was probably the bottom of the pile of his current run of things. He's that good on everything that he's doing that I just think that Bloodshot Salvation was a little bit spread out so much that it wasn't quite as impactful as all of the other titles he's currently on.
I still believe that he wanted it to be a 16 and then dropped it down to 12, had to cram everything in there. The last issue was a real hodgepodge. And I
wish the whole last issue was a whole arc.
Yes, it needed to be. So many things needed to be explained, and that should have been followed into.
Yep. Danny Milhouse talks about how he got onto Black Hammer recently, and he just bought the first 2 volumes. What a series and universe! And I would encourage getting it's another one, a couple others to the Black Hammer universe. Definitely worth it. I know I pre-ordered the library edition for Black Hammer, the hardcover, deluxe hardcover. That won't be out for a couple more months. So hoping that comes out really soon. Be awesome to get that. And Chris, I think you had yourself a DC title you were going to talk about.
Yeah, this new Batman book. And I've always been searching for a good one ever since White Knight. And now this one, and I don't have the title. What's the title real quick? I forgot it.
This one, oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot. Batman, King of Fears.
King of Fears, and it's about him and Scarecrow. And from what I've read, which got me totally turned on to this book, was that Batman's starting to wonder if he's doing any good, if everything that he's done is worthwhile. And that leads him down a different path. It involves Scarecrow, who's leading a revolt in Arkham Asylum. I've always enjoyed Scarecrow. I think he's an undervalued villain, I guess you could say. I shouldn't say undervalued, but underexposed villain. Joker, of course, has always been number 1, but anytime you can play on somebody's fears and tinker with their head and mess with their head, I think that makes for a good villain. So I'm excited to see this one. I'm going to give it a shot. It's a 6-parter. I can do that. So I'm hoping it's going to be as good as White Knight.
Awesome, man. Good call out. you know, anything that's Batman mythos is always good. He's a character that always develops. And another one that's developing is on the Marvel side. The Punisher #1 is coming out this week. This one excites me. I enjoy Matthew Rosenberg, the writer of this book. I think he has done some great work. He did Multiple Men. He's done some X-Men. He's done a lot of creator-owned, like Four Kids Walk Into a Bank. You know, Rosenberg's awesome. And this one, Punisher, you know, just continues on to this piece. I do think it's funny that almost every Marvel book this week has a Fantastic Four Returns variant cover connected to it, like the one on the far right here. Definitely pushing the return of Fantastic Four out there, and breaking that out. But yeah, Punisher coming out to you soon. Rosenberg on the title, so score there. I think it's a good creative team there with Rosenberg on it. So get one. I think you had, and this one, you and I have talked about this book quite a bit. Want to get your thoughts on this one here.
Die. Just a blood fest. This one was such a great shocker when Kirkman just said, "Hey, surprise, I have a book everybody gets to read." And I grabbed that thing and dug into it. I know there was a good amount of people that just went out and tried to collect every single cover because there were small variations of the main cover, of the A cover, and I don't know how many they went into, but they had different little things on them.
I believe that's going to be the case for this one too.
Fantastic. I love it. And it's something that's different, a little odd, a little quirky. Outstanding numbers, amazing numbers. He did really, really well. And I think this one's going to follow suit. As you can see there, that the guy's nose is totally cut off. That was part of the plot from the first book. And it looks like it's going to pick up right where it left off. I think I've been looking forward to this now for 2 weeks, thinking to myself, when is Die coming out again? When do I get to see this again? I think that's been rattling in the back of my head for about 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to this one.
And there it is, man. Coming out with it again, getting more of it. Danny Millhouse on the live chat throws out his new comic book pull list is that he's got Flash 53, Teen Titans 21, Old Man Logan 46, and X-Men Red #7, and also Die #2. And I know he's holding back on his Valiant stuff because he knows we're going to say it in a moment. One that I would like to call out, and this is a Colin Bunn title, brand new mini-series through Image called Cold Spots. Colin Bunn puts out tons of horror stories. It seems like he's always doing it. I think I just saw the new Boom title that's coming out soon for him. He's got tons of different books. If you haven't looked up Colin Bunn, he does horror stories really good. And it's worth taking a look. I know he's on Regression, Harrow County that just wrapped up with Dark Horse, but he's teaming up with Mark Torres, who did Zombie vs. Robots, and worth a good look on this supernatural psychological terror thriller of the undead. So if you're into horror books, author with the reputation, going with it.
That book there, Cold Spots, that is the one that evolves a zombie apocalypse, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm tracking on it then.
All right. Let me see. Just making sure. I'll have to double check on that. Actually, I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, I haven't read it. And then you had this one, Chris.
Yeah, I kick myself for not getting involved in this book earlier, and I need now that it's at 14. I know there's got to be a trade paperback that I can go scoop up so I can get involved. I think I read the first three, and then just kind of fell off my radar. As sometimes you get so many books, it's really difficult to keep up with. But this is the one I do kind of kick myself for not keeping up with. This seems like an outstanding story. I know you've done a couple of reviews on it, and it's just continuing on. It's chugging right along at number 14 here. And, of course, who doesn't like the shotgun blast that blows the center of that vampire's chest clean wide open, and you can see the house behind it? Who doesn't like that? That's kind of cool.
Lissandro Esteran's art has been awesome in this. It is very, sketch style. but I've kind of enjoyed what he's produced on this. It's been really cool. But it fits the artwork really well, and just where they're at. I love the Bowman family, and then Bartlett, the main character here, and just how they're progressing the characters. Donny Cates is one of the biggest names in comics right now with everything he is doing, and Redneck is one of his babies of his own own ones, because he's doing a bunch of Marvel stuff right now. So all the way score on that.
I did pick this up a few hours ago. And I just got to get the signature for it.
Oh, he's going to be at Rose City Comic Con a couple weeks.
Both of them. Or no, not both of them. I'm thinking of Gatos is who I'm thinking of. But yeah, I'm definitely getting that signed and throw that on the back wall.
That's awesome, man. A trade that I'm going to call out with Image that I enjoyed. We did a review of issue number 1. It's a Justin Jordan, Donald DeLay title, and this is The Depth of Love. A guy takes an ecstasy pill, and it lets him see Cupid, and Cupid is a horrible monster, and so he's going to try to kill Cupid with a chainsaw. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what else will, because this is a cool, fun story with a good a anti-hero character per se, and then a good best friend all the way around. Donald's first book, major book, and then Justin Jordan. We know Justin Jordan from Shadow Man and a number of titles. I think that's a trade that's worth the look to get. So I'm going to call that one out.
That's a good one. I know Justin Jordan's got a great sense of humor, so I have no doubt that's a quirky, funny book.
And Justin's cool. I did an interview with him, and we noticed that the guy's name is Philo in this book. And Philo, if you could think of, is like Philadelphia, is the city of brotherly love, Philly. And Philo means love. So it's kind of funny that he has a lot of little Easter eggs in his stories that he says he purposely puts in there. He says for his own entertainment. He doesn't even expect fans to actually notice them or readers, but on his own entertainment to make himself have a laugh. So kind of fun stuff to look in his stories to see what else you could find. You had this book on your pull list.
Yes, this book is dark and dismal, and oh my goodness. Yeah, I was tearing through it again for my second read here yesterday, but I had to go and take care of something. I didn't get all the way through. Man, this is a good, solid story. And number 3, it's just going to pick up steam, and I want to say this is a 6-parter, correct?
Yes, there's only a couple more parts. Yep.
And this, of course, is where the tempo is going to seriously kick up. The art, as you can see there on the first on the first cover, is dark, and that you can expect through the entire book. And I love it. I love the fact that it's dark and dreary, because Portland, it is dark and dreary. In the winter and during the rainy times, it is dark and dreary. And I can only imagine that this is the time that they're trying to portray. Spot on portrayal and a damn good read.
I agree. I really like the work that these guys are putting in there with Joshua Hickson, his a newer artist as well. Him and Christopher Sabella found each other through Tumblr, of all places, and got together to work on this project. And it's very gritty. It's very, like you said, all the way around, a cool story talking about 1800s pirates, shipmen in Portland, and a woman who was shanghaied off to Shanghai in a boat, forced to work in a boat, pretended to be a man so she could live. Pretty cool all the way around. The story, loved it. Or loving it, I guess.
Loving it, yeah.
Yep. One publisher that we don't call out a whole lot, but we need to, is Vault. Vault is a newer publisher. They started a year ago, I believe, like a year and a half ago. Emerald City is when they first started a year ago. And they're celebrating a year this last year. And one of the newer books they have out is Wasted Space. This is Wasted Space number 4. Wasted Space number 1 is on its 3rd print now. Wasted Space number 2 is on its 2nd print. So this has been a book that people have gone out and bought. It is a quote-unquote crazy-ass sci-fi romp that answers the question, will terrible people ultimately destroy us all? So a cool synopsis quote there. Wasted Space has got some great creators connected to it, or Vault has got great creators connected to it. I mean, Marguerite Sauvage is on this one. That's a Valiant name that we all know. She had did Faith and Winter Wonderland a year ago. So lots of different titles on there, and that it's already sold out a couple times. I think it's a cool title that may need to be on people's pull list.
People need to be paying attention to it. A small little up and coming comic book group like that could spell wondrous things. They obviously they're picking up a little bit of momentum. People are paying attention to who they are. Got to be putting out a good story. So yeah, it's one that's going to be on my radar.
I encourage people to pick up Heathen. Heathen is an awesome story about a Viking heathen, a Viking shield maid. And she is an awesome character and really, really all the way around worth it. Vault has also got a title, Reactor by Donny Cates. It's got Ghost of Whispers, I believe, by Elliot Rahal. So quite a bit of titles with some good names that are very familiar with everyone. And this is a familiar title that I think is on a couple people's pull lists.
Yeah, this is a familiar one. Anybody who is a Valiant fan has been enjoying this run, not just this current run, this number 2 book, but the past 2 books, 2 series, I should say, before this. We've come to kind of expect what we expect, or I should say know what we expect from the Detectioner and his adventures. I think this is great because a little bit of a spoiler here. He's kind of going against the grain of everything that he's being told to do. And I'm loving it. He's using his true detectioning skills to get to the bottom of the story. And if that means going against Nero, then that's what he's going to do. And I think he's just going to make for an exceptional story. The first one was really, really solid. This will probably be my first book that I read tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, I've come to enjoy that Roman story of Antonius Axia and his just where that's going. I love Roman mythology. The thing that I'm missing in this book is the backstories with all the history in it, with the essays that were in the back of the prior 2 arcs. And then just where this actually ties into actual Roman history, which most of these books have had a big portion of actual events tied into the books, which is really cool that Peter Milligan is doing his homework on it.
Yes, I agree. I do miss those as well. I'm hoping, like the second one, they pick it up towards the end and they shed some information on the stories. I miss those as well. And the first book was awesome just because of those extra stories. It made it that much better.
Yep, awesome stuff. And another Valiant book that's coming soon. This one, Shadow Man number 6. What Andy Diggle is doing with the Shadow Man mythos is phenomenal. I think he is doing a great job coming back into tying and seeing what he ends up doing and connecting this with Incursion that's coming out in the near future, that crossover event. But this is continuing on the Dead and Gone and seeing or actually it's over. Dead and Gone just happened, right? The void from that and where Jack is moving after he's crossed all the centuries and figuring out the curse of Shadow Man and the Loa, where that's coming from him. I dig.
I thought they maybe I'm a book behind. I don't know, but I didn't think they had reached the prehistoric age yet.
They're going down to 4000 BC.
Yeah, that's this book coming up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this will be the end of that Dead and Gone arc, right?
End of Dead and Gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pretty wild. So this says, they come back to the world, the premortal world of Africa. So it's definitely going back to some ancient darkness in human time. So I think this is probably going to be one of the bigger books to cover that mythos of who who the actual Shadowman Loa is, let alone the legacy of Jack, but the Shadowman Loa connection.
Yeah, we even going back to VH1, the beginning of Valiant, we never got the history like we're getting right now. We got bits and pieces as they dip their toe into it, but this is just diving into the deep end and scrounging around and mixing things up, and it's really laying that foundation for the Loa and his strengths that could make this book an incursion and whatever else that they plan on doing with the Shadow Man. This book could stretch on for quite some time. This could, I mean, really, they're doing a lot of backstory, and here we are, book 8, right? Is that what that is? Book 8?
Book number 6.
6, okay. Book 6. So they'll be wrapping that up. So we'll be 6 books in before we even get to the storyline that we wanted to start with. All of it was backstory, which is great. There hasn't been anything lacking in this entire story. Jack should come out from this a much stronger and more developed individual, and he's got bad guys right off the bat that he's got to handle. And then we know that the path that it's going to take, of course, we know that there's going to be a big epic battle here, and then incursion's going to happen, and who knows where the story is going to lead. But I know that the foundation of this book, everything has been paved and it's smooth, and people that pick this up later and are going to be able to read it in one chunk are just going to fall in love with this character.
Yep. So if you haven't gotten into this, you need to get in. Check it out from the beginning. I know the first arc is in trade format now, so I would check that out and then get ready for this too, because I believe Andy Diggle is going to be around for a little while. He's said to have at least a 24-issue story with Shadow Man. And that's exciting. 2 years and seeing what one guy like Andy can do with it. He had done some stuff prior with long story runs, and so where he goes from here was going to be pretty exciting. Keep it on that Valiant train. We're going to go with Quantum and Woody number 9. This is Elliot Rahal again with Joe Eisma. The synopsis is talking about how these two are going to be superheroing alone for a little while. And then Elliot's doing a great job on this. It's kind of, it's not all slapstick funny that it's been for a lot of Valiant for the longest time with Quantum and Woody. And it's kind of creating some legitimacy within these two. And so, yeah, getting on that. What do you think of Elliot's run so far?
Well, I know when we were first introduced to this book, how they were, quote unquote, an acclaim duo, if you will. Of course, they were born in the acclaim era of Valiant, and how things just never felt like they belonged to the Valiant universe. I've heard a lot of people talk about that and bring that up in reference. Sure, there's been crossovers with Archer and Armstrong, but when it comes to fighting the big bad guys, they're really never involved. Not so much. I think what Elliot's doing here, and he was handed off this book here a little while back, is he's building these two knuckleheads into a cohesive duo of knuckleheads, not just where they're always fighting each other and they accidentally get something right. I can see how they're going to bumble their way through. Sure, they're going to fight. They're going to be, because they're brothers, but they're going to be a little more of a competent, bumble-headed duo, if that makes any sense. They're building teamwork. They're
kind of like you and I.
Yeah, just like you.
That's it. We'll figure our way out of this, guys.
But now I lost my train of thought here. So this book ends at 12, and that 12 is going to actually be a one-shot, if you will, as they try out for a Unity, and that was spoiled today a little bit with the November books dropping.
The solicitations, yeah.
Yeah, the solicitations. I'm saddened by the fact that this book possibly will end at 12. Excited that there could be another book down the road here, but Rahal has done a great job, and this is in in a contained area where he's kind of had to stay inside the lines a little bit. I want to see him get on a book where he has a little more freedoms to where he can just really let it out. Lunchbox Special so far to me has been a good book. I know he does good work because I've enjoyed everything that he's done on this run. I want it to continue personally. I want to see him continue Quantum and Woody, Unity, something. Give him some corner of the Valiant universe because I think he's an exceptional writer.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I agree. I enjoy what Elliot's doing and like what he's doing. What book it comes up next. It's for Valiant to decide. They're said in every month of next year that they're going to have a new book.
Yep.
And so I hope that's the case because this is for November solicitations where they had said that they are going to be ending Quantum and Woody. And that would be the beginning of Bloodshot. So that's only 6 titles for that month. That would mean December, you are going to be adding Livewire and you're going to be ending Faith. January, you will be ending. I'm sure another book will be ending. And then you will be getting The Life and Death of Toyo Harada in January.
Is it January? Okay. January?
I believe that's January. Yeah. And then I think February, we're getting the Incursion. And then so what happens in March, what happens in April, I really hope that they do. I really hope they bring back the Valiant Summit, to be honest with you, because I need to get excited. Right now, not knowing what's around the corner, it makes it a little hard. I felt like Dinesh would have been leading up to this possible Unity stuff a long time ago, right? Instead of right before the solicitation or right when the solicitations, and now you're ordering the book. The kid that had you pumped up 2 months ago, getting ready to order the book. So you have to pump up the ordering, not here. Now it's ready to order. Now we'll tell you what it is.
Right. Yes. And he would, you're right. 2 months ago, he would have been talking about it, let something slip. It would have had piqued a bunch of people's interest to stay involved in Quantum and Woody. This would have come out. He would have hyped it some more, and he would have drove home come November, big numbers for whatever number 12 is going to encompass. And that would have carried over into whatever book they plan on pushing. Was he a hype train? Yes, absolutely, he was a hype train. But the way that he did it was quite masterful. And right now, I'm just not feeling that. I'm okay. There's going to be another book. I know nothing about it, but I know one thing's for certain: I'm not hyped about it.
Yeah, I dug the little ways that he would, give a little bit of the story, a little bit away to where, you'd be a fan that he just saw, the coolest thing and he had to tell his buddies. And that right there was a very authentic. So, but I'm just, having just 6 titles and then books ending, and only knowing about, 4 of them that are coming out, and knowing that books are ending and we only have so little bit of books makes me want to have it to where we're getting, the more books. But I just hope that we get excited. We get to hear some more stuff coming soon of what's around the corner, and not just before the solicits hit.
Yes. Give us something to chew on. Give us something to think about. Give us something to keep us involved in not only the current stories, but get excited for what's coming down the pipe beyond the solicitations. Keep us wanting more. And right now, I think you're not getting that same feel of people wanting more, or being excited about the more they're going to get. Right.
And I'm also seeing a lack of follow through with the Harbinger Wars 2 event and how that's leading up to the books that are out right now. And so to have an event as such appear to have very little impact on the ongoings after the fact that it's over, because these solicitations that are here are after that event, and it's just leaves you hopefully wanting and desiring more.
Yeah, but yeah, you're definitely not feeling it.
That's right. So there's that. There's some good books there. 3 Valiant book is awesome. I wish they would make sure that we always had one every week instead of having 3 in certain weeks, because that happens sometimes. But happy to have them. Happy to be the publisher. Happy to have it out there. Happy to have Valiant out there. So asking you guys online what you guys are reading, of course. And then if you did notice in the chat, I wrote that going to be a little giveaway. And it stinks for those in across the seas just because shipping is so much. At the time being, I'm going to have to not have that be the case, Danny, because of shipping. But I have 2 books. Just boom, some deluxe, some Harbinger Volume 1 deluxe editions. I got a hold of these. They are not brand new, but they are in pretty good condition. And I'm going to throw out a Twitter with the link to this, and all you got to do is comment on it. And I'm going to say in 2 weeks, there will be a winner. So 2 weeks, just comment on the tweet and who is your favorite Valiant character is what the question is. So let us know your favorite Valiant character is. We'll send you out some Harbinger, and we'll run that route. So, or actually, no, let's change that. Not who your favorite character is. Who would you like to see your fan casting for the movie Harbinger? Who would you like to see play Pete? Who would you like to see play Chris? Who would you like to see play Torque, Flamingo, Axe, whoever? Fan cast Harbinger. That's the question. That's how you win. Is you fan cast Harbinger, and I think that'd be cool. And then we'll pick a random winner out of that, and go from there. But and then we'll send those out to you. So we got 2 weeks to get that done. But they're going to be on a tweet connected to this video that I'm going to send out today. So I think that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I know I'm going to get involved because I want those books. I want one of those books.
I don't know if I'll let you win, dude. That's not right.
I'll still participate. I'll still participate.
Yes, definitely participate. Even if you're overseas, Danny, participate. I want to hear what you got to say on it. I know it's something that we've done kind of before, like over a year ago. We talked about stuff like this, but participate. So
where's Danny at?
Danny's in London, or outside of London, I believe, right? UK.
If Danny wins, I'll cover his shipping.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Moose. So any Europe, right? You got it?
Anywhere in Europe. I don't care.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Danny won one of our first contests when we had a signed Faith cover, and then we had the Comics Dungeon variants for Faith series. So Danny won that.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, he got a signed, I believe, Margaret Savage, and I believe it was also signed by Jody Hauser. So that's awesome, dude. I'm glad you got that one. But everybody, we want to thank you guys for jumping on, man. Chris, thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely.
Getting ready for Rose City, man. We're getting hyped on that. So
getting very stoked.
Coming soon. Everybody, thanks for jumping on. Danny, everybody, we appreciate it. And we want to say have a good reading week tomorrow. Later.